Come on. Ain't nobody messing around ya, girl. Gon' get on up, gon' get on down. Ain't nobody messing around ya, girl. Gon' get on up, gon' get on down.
Hello viewers, and welcome back after a nice long break. Now today I'll be playing F-18 matchups. I'll be using the premium American one, which has the same flight model as the F-18A in the US tech tree. But don't worry, while the late is slightly better, the flight models are close enough to the point where it doesn't affect the matchups. Now this is a plane I see a lot of people talk about online, and they don't necessarily get things right, so hopefully we'll put some of that to rest today. Without further ado, let's begin. We'll start with the most hopeless matchup for the F-18, the Ralph. Now this round I'm going to go for a bit of a rape fight against Spilly and the Ralph here, just to show you quite how hopeless it is if we go for that. End of first turn and I'm still going 800, which is fair speed to have, but I'm forced to use a lot of it to pull in, make sure I don't die in this turn. Even so, you can see that Spilly gains huge amounts of angle in just that one turn. Here I tap the button a little bit, just to see what happens, but it's clear at this point that I've completely run out of speed and there's nothing I can do. And as such, this turn Spilly's able to turn in and just blow us out of the sky. There it is. Hop on the gun because it gives you a bit of pitch, but it was hopeless. Bang! So, we clearly can't play passive against the Ralph, so let's see what happens if we try and do something a little more aggressive. I go plus 90 in the merge in the hope that Spilly stays close, and he does. I try and head for an overshoot, but you see the Ralph just sits behind. Spilly doesn't take the bait and doesn't go for full lead. And here, I'm already completely lost. Luckily, either due to timer or Spilly missing, I survive here in time to press the button and try and force another overshoot. But at this point, I've lost too much speed, and the F-18 really doesn't like pitching down when really slow. So I've got no control, and my best bet here is to just go for a Hail Mary with the gun and the button. As you can see, it doesn't come anywhere near to close, and I'm just completely dead. The Ralph has every answer for the F-18. Next up, let's have the Eurofighter. I merge flat, and Spilly goes the other way, which is a bit of a shame for me because it means that at the end of first turn, if I want equal position, and I don't want to stick a rate with this guy, I'm going to be going very slowly, so I use pretty much all my speed in that first turn. And then in the second turn, Spilly can just run straight around the circle. And I have hardly any position at this point. And I'm only going 240. So when Spilly comes close here, I take this as my opportunity to hit the button and try to go for a shot. But again, these shots are just so hard to try and make. They're not consistent at all. And I miss completely, and before you tell me to stop overusing button, and that's the worst way to play this plane, you've got to understand that when a plane has a sustain so much worse than something like Eurofighter, your only bet against an opponent who knows what they're doing is to press the button and hope you get lucky. Next up, the 16A, block 10, and I know I can't stick a rate with this, so I go plus 90 and hope that Spilly pulls tight and we can go for a stall fight. He doesn't. I pull aggressively second turn, but Spilly keeps the circle very wide, and at this point I've got absolutely no speed and he's way out in front of me. A shot from 1.4 is not hittable because he can react to it and move out of the way. And at this point what I should have done is point down and go straight, which at very best gets us a fight reset. For the sake of the video though, I don't, and now I'm stuck behind Spilly. I can try my very best to point the nose at him, but I've just got no speed to go for a shot. I can press the button, not close. And at this point I've got such little speed that even if I do go straight to extend, Spilly would catch me and I wouldn't reset the fight. So my best bet again is to press the button and try for a shot. At the very best it's head on, but I don't even get that, and now the plane's so locked up that I can do nothing and simply die. A second round against 16A then, and this time I merge flat with a hope that Spilly will meet me equal in the second merge. What I want to do is make a very aggressive attack here, and I wait till second turn to do it, so that if I do get the attack, the gun timer will have expired. I go for it, but the 16A is able to just pull beneath me and nullify the attack. I could have stuck for that, but I would have hit the water. And I only barely avoid it here with the help of the button, but at this point, I've just got no speed at all, and Spilly is able to very easily take me down. Bang! This next matchup is good news for Hornet fans because it's the MiG-29, which is among the worst top tier FMs at the minute, and so luckily we do in fact beat it. You see here I'm against Prey now, and in just the second turn I'm already right on him. And there's not much to say here, to be honest. The 29 does pretty much everything worse than you, and even though he's got his button, it's no match really for the Hornet. And immediately, Prey's done for. You can play it pretty much how you like in Hornet against 29, because he really has no answer. It's a pretty sad flight model, the MiG-29. But there you go. Right, next up we've got the 15C, this time represented by Prey in the 15JM, and it's worth noting that the JM is slightly better than the 15C when it comes to flight model, but they have the same matchups. And what you'll see is, even though we're going very slowly, the 15J is not able to capitalise on that. He can't pull in, and we've entered sort of a stall fight here, me and Prey. And I reason that at this point, while he's got great position, he's probably run out of speed. And I end up being right, he tries to gun yaw to save himself, but he does not get the shot. I make a mistake here by going for the attack way too early, so you can see I don't get it. Gives Prey a chance to try something, but I'm able to button, and I quite easily avoid him. From here I can set up a counter-attack. Make sure to counter off the button if possible, you have more control. Prey spins out because he's buttoned out of his brain. And now it's a case of me hitting the shot. And if the 15J, 15C tries to rate, you can always turn inside and force aggressive. It loses to you there as well. Right, next up is the 15A, and these first couple rounds I'll show you will be stall fights. In this first one, I try my absolute hardest to make sure Spilly ends up in front of me, and I do manage to do that. You can see here he's faster than me, and he just drifts in front, but I've made the mistake of bleeding too much speed. I can't neg-G at all, his plane doesn't like to pitch down at low speed, and I just end up in front of him, so I reason the best thing to do is to hop on the gun for some pitch and try and make this. It is very close, but the nature of it, you can't get those every time, and that's what you have to go for. But in the second one, I reckon, okay, let's keep some speed, and not stall out in front. But it's exactly what I do, you know, I fly out in front, and this time I've got speed, but what use is it because he's sat right behind me? And there's nothing I can do here, except hope he misses, but of course, Spilly never misses. Right, last round now against the 15A. And I intend to make a very aggressive manoeuvre, similar to how I did against the 16A at the start, because I know that the 15A dumpsters me in rate. Spilly obviously anticipates this, and tries to create as much separation as possible before I go for my attack. I can try more aggressively there, but I'll probably end up in the water. At this point, I kind of have to go for this shot, because I know that Spilly will take me down in a couple of turns in rate. But at the end of the day, it's not happening, and now I'm completely out of speed. Right in front of him. The F-18 doesn't have much to say to the 15A. Next up now, Mirage 2000, and this is another plane we actually do beat. One of the ways to do so is by merging fairly fast, and then in the second merge, making that really aggressive turn. Now the Mirage, unlike the 16A and the 15A, is not able to avoid this one. So in just 2 turns, we've already pulled in. Look at that. Next round against the Mirage, and let's see if we can't force a stall fight. So I start by going plus 90, in the hope that Spilly pulls in and keeps going up. He in fact does. Second merge and up we go, continuing the spiral. Now the F-18 has a better low speed thrust to weight than the Mirage, and a little bit more control until you're going about 110 kmh, at which point it's a little bit stiff. But that doesn't matter, because you can see we've had a cracking stall entry. Spilly flies out right in front, and what he's hoping for is for us to lose control and stall out, but you'll see we're still going just fast enough to be able to control the plane. And pull in and shoot. Boom, there's that crit. 16C now against Prey. Now this plane does again beat us in rate, so we don't want to stick around. We want to be as quick as we can trying to do something. So I decide, even though Prey has kept separation, that I should still try something really aggressive in the second turn. And you can see that I actually end up gaining really good angle on him. But he's still going so fast, and he is just able to bring the plane right round, and look at that distance. I don't even have angle, and look at that distance. And here I'm going too slow to do anything. So he's able to just turn it right round and blow us up really easily, and that's the power of the 16C. On to the flanker now, and it's Prey again. And we're going to immediately try for a stall fight, really aggressive. But unlike every other plane so far, the flanker also has a really strong button. And guess what else he has? A missile that does something in a duel, so there we go. Blown up by our 73, and that's something you see often. And in fact, that's something that makes this pretty much an unwinnable matchup, because in a tournament scenario, on a map like this, you would be fighting a flanker and he would bring 6R73. And even, you see here, I try and play passive and loop around him, maybe deny the shot or whatever. But the problem is, sure, he shoots one off. Great, we defeat that. He's got loads where that came from, so there's more and more and more, until eventually you have no choice. I mean, you've run out of speed. And we're right behind him, and he can just keep smashing that button and launching them off. And you can't live forever. The last plane here is the SC-30, and this is pretty much the same thing as the 27 to fight. You have the same shortcomings against it, in that it out-buttons you, and if you try and loop it or rate it, it can always just point at you and pressure really hard with the 73s. So as with the flanker, pretty much your best bet against these things is to try your absolute hardest to get ahead on, but even then, you're fighting a flurry of missiles, it's just not easy. So in conclusion here, you can see that the F-18 doesn't actually really win against an awful lot, despite a lot of people online saying it does, and I think a reason for that is that the general player base doesn't really pass the skill check of knowing how to counter a pointing mobile, so they don't know how to pull passive and they don't know how to sustain a rate, and that I definitely think ends up being a reason for the Hornet having such a fan base. But otherwise it's a fun plane to play, and despite not being too great asymmetrically, it is still definitely worth playing, I'd say. I mean, I like it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, whenever that may be.